Hello, my name is Rob Strickland, and I want to talk to you today about the landing gear of a typical 172 Cessna. But first, I want to tell you that the Lord has a purpose for your life, and you should endeavor to find out what that is because He loves you first. All right, now let's talk about the Cessna 172. It is a tricyclic configuration, meaning that it has basically a tricycle configuration. Um, it has two main landing gears which are able to support the weight of the aircraft, and it has a nose wheel which functions more to turn the aircraft and is not able to bear the full weight of the aircraft. So keep that in mind when landing. All right, basics about our gear is again that it consists of the two main landing wheels um, and a steerable nose wheel, which is able to be manipulated by use of the rudders when you're in ground operations. All of the landing gears are equipped with fairings, which aid in aerodynamic efficiency, allowing air to not reach a blunt surface but rather to pass over it smoothly. Okay? The origins, which I found this pretty interesting, of the Cessna 172 come from the Cessna 170, which was a tail dragging aircraft. So, pretty big difference in that. I know that you have to have an endorsement to be able to fly a tail dragger, and um, there might be something to that because all of you know the Cub and Bush planes are tail draggers, so would be something interesting to look into. But back to our landing gear. The main gear serves as the true load bearing components for landing. These wheels and gear are attached to the A-frame via spring steel struts. Now, steel spring struts are exactly what they sound like. They're struts um, that are made out of steel and act as springs. All right. Uh, they are favored because they are mechanically simple. So don't over complicate any of it. They are made out of a flexible material, steel, which is relatively lightweight, um, and they are able to act as a spring when you come in for a landing. Something like this. You're gonna touch down and it's gonna flex some, um, which will give you a slower rate of transferring that energy into the fuselage um, and the airframe at large. So that's important, especially on those rougher landings. All right. Um, they're also very low maintenance, so that is something to keep in mind. Um, and that's always favorable um, in an aircraft, especially in an emergency situation or something like that. When things get complicated, too complex, you have a higher likelihood of something going wrong. All right. Those main landing gears also have brakes, which are very similar to the brakes in your car. They have a rotor, basically, that is pinched by a brake pad, which is fed from a hydraulic line. Now, that hydraulic line is going to be compressed when you apply brake. You apply pressure on those pedals, and they can operate independently, unlike your car. You can operate either the left or the right, depending on where you want to turn and what you're doing with the aircraft. Obviously, they only work during ground operations. Not that they don't work; they're just of no use in the sky. Um, and always make sure you have enough brake pads and hydraulic fluid. Just something to keep in mind about the system itself. And if you're missing a rotor, it's probably not going to stop. Okay, so now our nose gear. The nose gear is not intended to bear the entire weight of the airframe. Um, it does, however, have probably the most sophisticated shock absorber on the aircraft. It is referred to as an oleo strut, Um, Essentially, there's two cylinders. One that slides inside of another, something like this. You have one cylinder that's attached to the airframe, and then you have one cylinder, the inner cylinder, which is attached to like the tire itself, the tire and the wheel and the landing gear. So this one is, or the bottom one is filled with hydraulic fluid. The top one is full of empty space, and in between them there's an orifice which has a small tube in it that allows those fluids to commingle. So you come down, you put that weight in, and then all that hydraulic fluid comes up, and as it comes up, that energy is transferred from the kinetic energy of motion into thermal energy and comes out as heat. And that's your oleo shock absorber. Now, just a quick note. A quick note is you can also add different types of landing gears. You can remove all of that and put some floats, which have a retractable landing gear on them. Um, so look that up for our next topic of conversation. Thanks.